Started with a 5-minute video presentation. So technicians, if you'd like to play that first, thank you.
In Beirut, when you said running, it used to mean running from war, running from shells, snipers, and invasions. But today, it means running towards peace, hope, and freedom. It was 2001. I was running near the coast, training for a marathon, when a truck hit me. I went into coma and almost died. When I woke up, I realized immediately that I had a choice. I could let this disaster break me, or I could fight it and beat it. What I knew straight away was that the same qualities that I had learned from running, such as endurance, patience, perseverance, determination, I would now need them just to be able to walk again. I would need them to get through 2 years and 36 operations of painful recovery.
At that moment, she turned to me and whispered in a voice that I could barely hear. And she said, "This happened for a reason."
Lebanon was also broken, not by a truck, but by the 20 years of civil war. It's still recovering. But like any recovery, it takes endurance, perseverance, determination, and commitment from everybody. And so the idea hit me, Beirut needs a marathon. It was the first time something like this happened in this part of the world. Here, in this tiny country, with 18 different religions, 20 years of civil war, and still divisions between people. Suddenly, we were all facing in the same direction. The marathon has grown every year since then. Last year, over 36,000 registered with 1,600 runners from all over the world.
Les coureurs internationaux, quand je les rencontre ici, ils viennent au Liban, ils croient que c'est un petit marathon dans une petite ville avec 1000 coureurs. Mais là, ils voient la méga organisation, les 35 000 Libanais qui débarquent et qui courent, et ils sont vraiment épatés.
The last couple marathons that I've participated here in Beirut have been on par with the other ones I've run internationally. So, I mean, I think people who want to come and experience the Middle East, want to see what Lebanon's about, want to be part of, and it's one of the biggest sporting events in the Middle East, I think it's a great place to run.
All the runners we've taken to come to run in Lebanon over the last 8 or 9 years have all become great ambassadors for the Beirut Marathon. And I think that the best way to spread the world about Beirut is to bring people there and show them what the city has.
The thousands who run take this solidarity home with them. This makes a real difference to mindsets, to society as a whole. And when each of us recognizes that we can turn a problem into an opportunity, we can start to affect change.
Fragmented and unstable.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winner of the Sport for Good Award 2011, Méabh Khalil.
Today we are ready for anyone who is willing. Elite runners or amateurs, men or women, Lebanese, Arabs, people from all over the world. Anyone willing to run for equality, unity, charity, and of course, for peace. Because peace is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Do I have runners after this? Yes, how many? 1, 2. You're willing to come to Lebanon? Yay! That's the right spirit. Well, first of all, I would like as well to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be among the movers and the shakers, among esteemed people. I come from Lebanon, from the Middle East. You're all aware of the Arab Spring that we're going through. Change is difficult, but we're going through a lot of pain. We're losing so many casualties every single day. Life is too precious and life is too short. There is so much to do. There is so much to give humanity, and there is so much to pay back to the community. So I hope this change that we're going through in the Middle East will not take long. I've been talking about peace, and I will continue talking about peace until we reach that stage in the Middle East. Well, I come from Lebanon, and Lebanon has been through a long and bloody, devastating civil war. And not only that, our country has been divided between politics and religion, and this has been going on for decades. Our government is still shaken, and even up till now, our government is unstable. We've had a government about a week ago, but it's not official yet. The issues are many, and it's not official. So we might have another 10 months of no government, even no president, and here we are. This is the situation in Lebanon. However, I am a runner myself. I used to be a long-distance runner, and running to me was a way not only to keep my shape, but it helped me dream and meditate. So the longer distances I ran, the bigger my dreams became. Until one fateful morning, and while running, I was hit by a truck. I went into coma, was hospitalized for 2 years, and underwent 36 surgeries to be able to walk again. The minute I woke up from the coma, I realized that I was no longer the same runner I used to be. So even at that moment, and during my most vulnerable condition, I went back to the values of sports and what sports taught me at the time I was running. I didn't want to pity myself, and I didn't want others to pity me. I wanted to set an objective, something to look forward to, and something to take me out of my ordeals. And I felt a marathon in Beirut will help me overcome these ordeals. A marathon in Lebanon will help me pay back to my community, bring people together, build bridges with the outside world, and invite runners to come to our beautiful country, Lebanon, and as well run under the umbrella of peace. When I introduced the concept of running in Lebanon, it wasn't easy, because at that time, Lebanon was still recovering from the civil war. So how could you convince people who were once fighting and killing each other to come and run next to each other? Or more than that, how do you organize an international marathon in a country that is constantly at the brink of civil war? Even back then, when I was talking about marathons, people thought that I was, talking a weird language, because the concept of running long distances at that time was not even that common in Lebanon. However, with the passion that I had inside me, I felt if I carry this passion along with me, I'm sure I'll be able to recruit and probably make sure that people will end up participating in such events. So we had to start from scratch. For almost 2 years,
we went all over the country. We met people from all walks of life, NGOs, school children, mayors, even militiamen, the president of the country, moms, babies, and we were talking about one thing. It was about doing a race under a national event and under the umbrella of peace. So it was honesty and transparency, really, that brought us together. We were talking one common language, and that was from one human to another. And the first marathon took place in 2003. And we had close to 6,000 people. People left all their differences back home, and they came to the start line united. And they had one objective in mind, and they wanted to run for peace, for unity, and for a better Lebanon. So when the gunfire went on, this time it was to start the race, and it wasn't to kill or to shoot each other. So the marathon gained credibility, and people really loved it. They looked at it as a platform for peace and unity. It was a time where people felt really happy being together. So the positive energy that people felt around this marathon became contagious. So the marathon grew, but our political problems as well grew. So between 2006 and 2009, we had serious challenges. More assassinations, more killing. We were very close to civil war. We didn't have a president even at that time, but we had a marathon. Our objectives were very, very clear. We were talking one common language. And every time we found out that there were issues, we raised slogans under the message of peace, running for unity, or running for solidarity, or running for the love of Lebanon. And all of these messages really brought people together. But most importantly, it gave credibility, or we gained credibility with the outside world. And the international runners started supporting us. Even during the most difficult times, we had international runners who came from all over the world. We started with 49 nationalities back in 2003. And last marathon, last November, we had over 104 nationalities. People came for solidarity. People came to show their support. And those who couldn't come to Lebanon, they ran in their own countries, and they sent us videos, and they showed us that they were running, even in their countries, they were running in support of peace as well, and in support of the race that was taking place in Lebanon. I would like to talk about the values of sport. The values of sports are really great because they bring people together. You know, at the start line of the marathon, because it's such a huge, start, people stop looking at their differences. They end up looking at the things that bring them together, the common things. They stop thinking or looking at the conflicts that could be between each other, and they look at the similarities. This is the power of the sport. I believe that sport has the power to change the world, and that's what happened in Lebanon, and gradually it is definitely changing the mentality. With every runner that comes to the start of the Beirut Marathon, they leave with positive energy. I am a very spiritual person, and I believe in the positive energy. I believe that the positive energy can be contagious, and it can bring people together. So this, in brief, this is the story of the Beirut Marathon. The marathon supported NGOs. We supported volunteers, and that helped them raise funds. And the culture of giving became really contagious. Stereotypes were as well were there, and the idea of giving, and not only that, future leaders became really part of the marathons because of the number of volunteers that we use. We have over 5,000 1,000 volunteers that really support us during the marathon. I think these values are the building blocks for a better future and for better societies. Anyway, the marathon has gained credibility not only in Beirut, but the neighbors who have similar problems like Iraq, Syria, and Egypt have contacted us because they wanted us to help them set a similar formula and through sports as well. Hopefully through sports they'll be able to come to overcome their problems. So the marathons have all different kinds of people, the young, the elderly, blind, the disabled, and the mentally challenged people through the long distance, the 42-kilometer, and through the 10-kilometer where we call it the fun run, and the 5-kilometer where we have thousands of children who as well participate. And these children are the future heroes, and they are the people who as well will bring in the change, and they will create carry the message of peace. Anyway, as I said in my TED Talk, I believe that peacemaking is not a sprint, it is more of a marathon. I am pretty sure that if we continue carrying these values with us, hopefully we'll be able to change the world through sports. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on a practical basis, when is the marathon taking place this year, if anyone in the audience would like to sign up?
Well, actually, we have two races. One on the 4th of May, and this is only for women. And the objective is to empower women, but men are invited as well to run in the 5-kilometer. But they have to wear a pink T-shirt to show their support for women. And the other race, the International Marathon